menus. This is a bit of an eye chart, and that's one of the reasons that it'll be coming out. The next few slides are that way. But our friend Ed Gorin is a great consultant, spent his life in the restaurant industry, has done a fabulous job as a consultant out of Los Angeles and actually worldwide. Kind of coined a term the other day with me. He said, we really need to move to fewer items with fewer people done well. The way to get to this is to take 80% of the products and engineer to gross margin. If you focus on that top 20%, that's going to be your 80% of your sales. Really focus on those items because they're going to be the least resistant to price increases and any kind of adjustments. So measure the overall contribution to sales, to volume, to gross profit, then look at the COGS percentage because we're in a period of inflation. You really want to be driving margin and not be as concerned about percentages as we have been in the past. We'll get back to that at some point, but right now it's really important to be driving margin. In other words, if a steak goes up $10 a pound, don't try to keep it in line at a 30% cost or 33% cost and raise it $30. Say, what am I happy with? Can I make an extra $1, an extra $5, an extra $10? And you take a little bit hit on the percentage, but you're actually earning more. So then you take the bottom 20% of your sellers, cut them off the menu. I know that scares a lot of people. Then replace half of them with new items that are gross margin friendly. It's an easy way to tweak and optimize your menu. And a lot of the bottom 20 are things that maybe the employees like to eat, or maybe you like to eat as an owner or as a manager. Just keep an eye on that bottom 20%, and you'll be able to churn your menu over while keeping the things that most people eat. So when you're doing that analysis, you're doing that engineering, you're going to want to make sure that you're working to eliminate a station, if that's at all possible, so that can optimize performance. So sometimes that's maybe a station that, a pantry station that can move towards the line and be accessed by one person rather than two, but really consolidating that menu down to where you can be more focused. So we want to create a really focused menu, fewer items, fewer people, done well. Portion everything and cross-utilize every product that you have. You shouldn't have anything that kind of hangs out there by itself. You should be using everything in multiple recipes. But portioning, I think, is the one area of consistency that you can bring to your product cost. Make sure that everything is portioned. It will drive cost out of your ecosystem. Work with your supply chain on excess inventory. So the economy is slowing. We should start seeing a little loosening up around things that are maybe not food related. I think we might have a little reprieve on food, but I think it's going to come roaring back in the fourth quarter and into quarter 1 and 2. So while supply will drop, supply will continue to increase, but demand is going to start decreasing. So we should see a little bit of relief there, I believe. But we don't know. As Lex started today, if the Feds come out and they raise interest rates, which they may have done by now, a significant amount, that could really be a game changer. It could help us kind of keep clicking along, or it could help us go backwards. We have dropped off in some cases and slowed down, and sales are slowing somewhat. Another area that you need to really focus on increasing check average, and this is kind of a repeat from last session, but make sure that you're watching your beverage menus, that you're adding infusions, that you're adding barrel aged, that you're doing more non-alcoholic drinks because they're becoming popular, and then train. Use the fishbowl where someone comes in on a daily basis. If you sell a lot of cocktails, comes in on a daily basis, goes over and gets a little ticket out of a fishbowl, and it has a recipe on it, and the bartender simply asks what's in that drink, and then they're on their way for their shift. So use the fishbowl. Servers will sell more when they know what they sell and if they love it. Next on the optimizing menus is take a price increase now. It's going to get harder as the economy begins to cool off to take a price increase, and in Q3 and Q4 that has been in Q1 and Q2. So if you haven't taken a price increase, or you've taken a small one, take another one now. But you have to be able to justify it. You can't just raise your prices and not do anything to justify it. So you have to make sure the guest understands why that price is there. So bring something to the table. So I'm thinking, things like family meal night, combo meals. Give them more, don't discount, don't just raise your prices. So make sure that you're really driving and optimizing your menu so that your check average will go up. You can raise your prices and the guest is getting a better experience. You have to be able to differentiate your product. You have to be able to provide superior service, and that'll set you apart. The average increase year over year, June over June, has been about 7.7%. You can see in that little chart at the bottom, the blue is full service, the red is limited service. You can see early last year, back into June, that the red was rising much faster. So they took their price increase and now they're beginning to cool off, where the full service restaurants in blue, were very, very slow to take their increases, and now they're taking them. So you want to make sure that you increase your prices now, because the 7.7% increase in the NRA, we've had 15.6% inflation just in the COGS area. So that 7.7 just covers that. It doesn't cover anything else, such as hourly labor that they think is up 10%. And in our area in Washington State, it's probably up a little bit more than that. So there's also other increases that have come along with it. So now's the time. You've got to get on that price increase if you haven't already. If you have, you should be thinking of the next one, because as you get into Q4 and get into Q1 and Q2 of next year, it's going to be more difficult to take that. We're starting to see a differentiation a lot from restaurants and grocery, and that's the gap I completely expected, that restaurant is going to get much more expensive, much more of a treat, and that's why we go all the way back, engage in the guest, and providing excellent hospitality, because it is getting more expensive. I took 2 kids and my wife to fish and chips the other night. It was over $100 just for fish and chips. So that would have been unheard of pre-pandemic, but it is the reality now. So you want to make sure that you're delivering on everything that you deliver to the guest. Tricks to look at on a daily basis. This isn't an overwhelming list, but I would make sure that you're looking at your PMIX every day. What are you selling? Make sure you're looking at your COGS pricing. Did something change on the pricing side of things? And then again, measuring your check average. Is check average going up? Let's make sure that it is, unless you intentionally are pushing it down. As far as hours